Hey guys, so today's element video is going to be air. So it's the opposite of earth in a lot of ways. Instead of being grounding and stable, we're going to be light and airy and flowing or flying, is more of what I like to think. So you're balanced, but it's almost like you're flying in certain positions. So we're going to utilize a lot of bird poses. The air element is also associated with the heart chakra. It's actually associated with the heart chakra. So you're going to want to do a lot of heart opening, a lot of expansion in this area. So we're going to utilize a lot of those positions as well. When you think about the air, you want to be able to think about the fact that it can be very active or very passive. You also want to think about the fact that your breath is what makes you alive. Your breath is the thing that connects you to all living things. Everything needs air to breathe. So for me, it's a very connecting practice to life. So if you're just feeling really disconnected to life, then I suggest this one for you. We'll get seated or we'll get started in a seated position, doing some breath work, and then we'll get going. So if you want to close your eyes, relax your shoulders down your back here, and then you're going to begin to inhale through your nose. And as you inhale, begin to feel the chest rise all the way down to the belly. Feel the belly fill up with air. And as you release, begin to release the belly first, all the way up to the chest. Inhale, chest rises all the way down to the belly. And as you exhale, deflate from the belly, all the way up to the chest. Just stay here for a few moments, continuing that breath. On the inhale, filling the chest all the way up to the belly. Exhaling, belly releases all the way to the chest. As you do this, relax your facial muscles, relax your shoulders. Maybe roll your shoulders back a little bit to open the heart here as you focus on that breath. Couple more just like that. Do one more. As you finish up that last breath, you can open your eyes if you had them closed. Inhale your arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the left. Take the right hand to the left knee and look over that left shoulder. Long, tall spine here. Take a breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Long, tall spine. Exhale, twist to the right. Left hand to right knee. Look over that right shoulder. Take a breath. Inhale it back to center. And we're going to do a seated side bend. So take your left hand next to your left hip. Inhale the right arm up. Reach it over. Keep your right sitting bone grounded down here. Take a breath. Inhale it back up. Exhale over to the right. Take a full breath here. Inhaling back to center. One more time. Inhaling the arm overhead. Exhale, dive to the left. Breathing into that right side body here. Inhaling back up. Exhaling over to the right. You can look under that right arm. Take a breath. Inhale to center. Both arms overhead here. Exhale, twist left. Look over that left shoulder. Take a breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twist right. Exhale to release. And then we're going to come into a child's pose. So take the knees out wide, toes together. And then instead of sinking down like your traditional child, we're going to take a thread the needle here. So inhale your left arm up. Exhale to thread it through. Resting your left ear on the mat, right arm stretched out. Take a couple breaths here, just breathing into the back of that left shoulder here. Breathing into your hips. Really trying to relax. Focusing on your breath here, remembering that you're connected to all life with air. One more breath here. Place your right hand on the ground, lift up. You can lay your left hand back down. Inhale the right arm up, exhale to thread it through. This time resting the right ear down, left arm stretched out in front. And we'll take some breaths here. Just relaxing into it. Relaxing the hips even more, letting go of any tension you might be holding in the groin here. Breathing into the back of that right arm, feeling your shoulder open up a little. Replace that left hand, rise up, replace the right, and then we'll come into all fours. We're going to come into extended puppy pose. So you want to try to keep the hips over the knees here, and then just slide the arms out to rest your forehead on the ground. This is a great chest opener here. You can keep your hands flat on the mat like this. I like to come into prayer hands and bend my elbows to bring my hands back towards my head. This gives me a deeper stretch. But you can always keep the arms stretched out. You can always use blocks under your arms. If you have knee issues, you can always do it against the wall. Standing, and then just place your arms on the wall and slowly step back to get that same heart opening position, chest opening. Take one more full breath here. And then place your hands on the mat. And we're going to do a waving cat-cow here. So the way that's going to work is we're going to inhale, arch the spine and look up. Exhale to round the spine, tuck the tailbone, and then sink your hips back into a child. Inhale, begin to come up. Arch the spine and look up. Exhale, round and tuck and sink the hips back. Inhale and come back up. Arching the spine, look up. Exhale floats around and tuck and sink those hips back. Do that a couple more times at the pace of your own breath. Maybe you want to stay in one a little bit longer than the other, just depending on where your body is, what you need. Wherever you are, just take 2 more of each. And we'll come to lay on our bellies. We're going to do some baby cobras. So feet pushed into the ground. Have your hands out next to your shoulders. Look forward, lift your chest. So your eye gaze is going to be forward, not down. Engaging your back body here. And as you inhale, lift up, lifting the hands. You're using your back and shoulder strength here. Take a breath. On the exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift it back up. Take a breath here. On the exhale, lower it down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift up. Take a breath here. And then on the exhale, release it down. Come up onto all fours here. Tuck the toes. We're going to come into our first down dog. Lifting the hips, rising up. Tiptoe it to the top of the mat. And then when you get there, stay hanging. Grab opposite elbows here, and then just allow your head to fall heavy. We're going to come into a Ragdoll Fold, and then we're going to go and we're going to make some circles here. And as we do that, we're going to utilize a cleansing breath. So first, just sway side to side, feeling your upper body fall heavy, your head fall heavy. Letting your back decompress here. Bend into the knees if you need to. And then as you inhale through your nose, swing up to the right, like you're drawing a circle with your elbows. And then when you get to the top, you'll complete your inhale. And then as you exhale through your mouth on the way down to the left. Inhaling up on that circle. Exhale, drop it down. Out through the mouth, cleansing breath. One more in this direction. Inhale it up. Exhale, drop it down. Exhale. When you get to the bottom, take a normal breath here. Swing it back and forth. One more normal breath. And then we're going to go in the other direction. So inhaling up to the left. Drop it down, cleansing breath to the right. Inhale up to the left. Exhale, cleansing breath, drop it down. One more here. When you get to the bottom, you can release your hands and we'll slowly roll it up. And then when you get there, we're going to come into our eagle pose. So bending the knees, coming down into your chair, bending the elbows. And we're going to start by taking the left hand under the right, or left arm under the right, cross at the elbows. Maybe you can cross the hands too. And then we're going to balance on the right leg, cross the left leg over the right. Maybe you tuck the toes, maybe you don't. Honor your body where you are. Engage your core here. Strong body, strong arms, flying and floating. Honor where you are in each day. I'm extra wobbly recently, and that's just where I am. Take one more breath here. We're going to come into dancer. So we're going to release the left leg. Take your right hand to heart center. Take your left hand inside of the left foot. And we're going to begin to lean forward. You're going to bow that left leg into the left hand. Maybe you extend the right arm out. Maybe you want to keep it at heart center here. Take a breath. And then airplane the arms back in warrior 3. So extending that left leg back, flexing the toes towards the face, engage the core. If you need to come up and get back in it, you can. Flying and floating here, light and free. Take a breath here. And then step it back into high lunge. So arms overhead, engage your core here. Bending into that right knee. Take a breath. Exhale, hands to the mat. Bring that left knee down here. Lift up into your low lunge. Or if you prefer to have your hands on the ground here, you can. It's really up to you. We're going to come into a quad stretch. You can take your left hand to the mat, kick your left foot up, and then push your left foot into your right hand, almost as though you're trying to pull that right shoulder back. So you're stretching into the quad while also opening up that right shoulder, opening up the heart, opening up the chest. Take a breath here. Release. Walk the right foot out. Just a couple steps. We're going to come into lizard lunge here as well. So roll out onto the outside edge of the right foot. You can stay up here, or if you want to come down onto the elbows for a deeper stretch here. Take a breath. You can just let your head hang heavy here, relaxing the neck. Breathing into that hip here. If you want to wiggle the knee back and forth just to loosen it up a little bit, you're more than welcome to do that. Hands to the mat. Swing that right leg back. Tuck the toes. Come up into a down dog. You either can take 5 breaths in your down dog, or if you would like to take a vinyasa here. Flowing forward into plank, exhaling to chaturanga, or you can go all the way down. Inhaling into your up dog or cobra, exhaling back to that down dog. Let's take one more clarifying breath together wherever you are. Step it to the top of the mat. Roll it up. Roll the shoulders back. Sink down into chair. And we'll do that on the other side. So this time, right arm under the left. Cross the elbows. Maybe you cross the hands. Maybe not. Then we're going to balance on the left foot. Crossing the right leg over the left. Coming into eagle. Maybe you tuck the toes here, maybe you don't. You can always use a wall for support here. Focusing on your breath, your light, engaging your core. Release the arms, release the legs. We're going to come into dancer. I'm going to scoot back just a little bit. This time, take your left hand to heart center. Bend that right knee, grab inside of the right foot, begin to bow back. So pushing that right foot into the right hand, keeping the chest lifted. Maybe you want to extend that left hand. This is a really challenging pose for me. for whatever reason. So keeping the heart up, bowing into that back leg, opening the chest here. And then we'll come into our warrior three with airplane arms. So airplaning the arms back, flexing that right foot towards the face, engaging your core here, engaging your back body, strong legs, strong muscles. If you fall out, come back in. And then we're gonna lower it into high lunge. Left knee bent, up on the right toes. Take a couple breaths here. Lower it down into that low lunge. You can use your hands here if you need to, or you can stay lifted. Focusing on your breath here. On your next exhale, take your right hand to the mat. We're going to come into that quad stretch. So bending into the right knee, pushing your right foot into your left hand, opening up the chest here. You can look out over that left shoulder. So stretching the quad while also opening the heart. Take a full breath. Release. We'll come into that lizard variation. So walk the left foot out and then roll onto the outside edge of the foot. Stay up here. Maybe you want to come down and up a couple times. Maybe you want to lower onto your forearms. Take a couple breaths here. Breathing into that left hip. One more breath here. Move that left foot back. We'll come back into a down dog here. Take a couple breaths. Bend into one knee and the other. And then we're going to come into a plank position. If you do not have a strong plank, you're going to want to come down onto your knees like so. So if you were able to come up into your plank, engaging the core, it's kind of hard to tell with my outfit, but engaging your core, not allowing your back to dip here, straight line. Come into your plank, whether you prefer on your knees or like this. Take a full breath. And then we're going to come into side plank. So either rocking onto the right knee or the outside edge of the right foot, pushing into the right fingertips, gripping the mat here, lifting the hips up, or you're going to have that right knee down like so. Lift it up, and then we're going to come into wild thing. So wherever you are, extend that left arm back, step the left foot back, open up. So you're either pushing up on the edge of your foot or you're pushing up through your knee. Take some breaths here. Really feeling your heart expand. You're light, you're flowing. On your exhale, bring it back into your plank wherever you are, and then we'll lower down onto the belly. All the way down. And I'm going to give you two options here. We're either going to come into Locust, or you can come into Fold Bow. So for Locust, you're just going to reach your arms back, and then on your inhale, you're going to engage your glutes, engage your quads, lift the legs, lift the arms, lift the chest. Or if you want to come into Fold Bow, grab either the feet or the ankles, and lift everything off the ground here. Take a couple breaths, relaxing the shoulders, opening up through the heart here. On the exhale, release. And we're going to come into Cactus Arms. So come onto the right ear. Take your right arm at a 90-degree angle. Looks like a cactus. Come up onto the left fingertips, and then just roll to the right. I like to bend my knees here. I feel like it's easier to stay in the position. So you're breathing and you're opening up your right shoulder here. One more full breath here. Come back onto your belly. We're going to come up into a down dog. You can stay in that down dog for 5 breaths or take a vinyasa. Flowing to plank. Exhale to lower halfway. Inhale to your up dog. Exhale to your down dog. Take a full breath here. This will be our last down dog of the practice. And just ripple it forward to your plank or come into your modified plank, knees down. Again, you don't want to put any strain on your body. There is no correct position here or way to do it. It's making sure that you're honoring your body and where you are. When you get there, take a full breath. And then roll to the outside edge of your left foot or left knee. So the knee will be down if you're in your modified plank. Lifting that right arm up. Take a breath here. And then we're going to come into wild thing. So either on the knee, stepping that right foot back, or lifting it up, opening up through the heart here. Breathe into it, free and flowing. One more breath. On the exhale, bring it back to plank, lower down, and then we'll come into either our locust or bow again. I'm going to do locust this time. So if you want to do bow, go ahead and bend the knees and grab the ankles. Otherwise, extend your hands back. Inhale to lift the chest, lift the legs. Bow into it, lift into it, using your back strength here. Take a couple more breaths. One more full breath here. And release. Rest your left ear on the mat this time. Cactus into that left arm. And then just push to roll with that right hand. You can bend into the knees here if you find that to be a little bit easier. Take a couple of breaths here. One more breath. Roll it back to center. And then we're going to come up onto our knees. So just rock your way there, get there, whatever's easiest for you. And we're going to come into camel pose. So again, I'm going to give you 2 options. We'll start with our hands on our low back, bending the elbows, tuck the tailbone here, engage the core. Begin to lean the head back, open up the chest. You can stay right here, or if you want to reach for your heels with your fingers, breathing into it, opening up through the heart here. Take one more breath. Release, come back up, and then sink to child's. So just sink the hips back, take your forehead to the mat, and we'll take 5 breaths here. Breathing into your whole body. As you inhale, just imagine the air spreading through all of your veins, oxygenating your blood here. Let's take one more breath here. come up into a seated position. So you can swing the legs around if that works for you. We're going to come into a seated twist. So let's bend the left foot towards the right hip and then just cross the right foot over the left. Take your left hand to your right knee. Inhale that right arm up. Exhale to twist. So taking your gaze behind you. Long and tall through your spine. Twisting at the navel here. We'll take a couple breaths. One more breath here. Release, and we'll take it to the other side. So tuck the right foot in here. Cross the left leg over the right. Even your sitting bones down. You can take your left hand next to the left hip. Inhale your right arm up. Exhale to twist. Hug that knee in. Looking over that left shoulder here. Inhale to get long and tall through the spine. Exhale to twist a little bit deeper. One more full breath here. Release. And we're going to come to lay down on our backs here. We're going to come into bridge, and then I'm going to offer you to come into bridge with a chest expansion as well. So you want to get your feet about hip distance width apart on the ground. You should be able to graze your heels with your fingertips. And then on your inhale, lift the hips, engage the glutes, engage the core here. Lifting up, make sure your knees aren't splaying out here. You can always hold a block in between the knees just to make sure. Take a breath here. Lower it back down. Now we're going to come into that same position, but this time if you want to interlace your fingers under your butt and kind of rock onto the outside edges of your arm to lift up through the chest. So inhaling, lift the hips. If you want to engage or interlace your fingers, rock onto the outside edge of the arm and just lift up more through the chest here. It's also a really good heart opener. One more breath here. Release it down. And now we're going to come into a modified fish. One of our last couple poses before we finish off our practice. So if you want to take your hands under your butt and kind of push up onto your arms again, lifting your chest and then lowering your head down here. You can keep the knees bent, feet on the ground, or if you want to extend the legs out, you can do that as well. It's up to you. Take a couple breaths here. One more breath. Release, lower down. You can take your arms out wide here. We're going to do a spinal twist before we go into our final posture, Shavasana. So you can take your hips a little bit to the right side of your mat and then just allow the knees to fall to the left on your exhale, keeping your shoulders facing up towards the sky. Take a couple breaths here. If you were feeling thick and foggy, hopefully this breath has just allowed you to clear your mind a little. One more breath here. Inhale the knees up. And scoot the hips over to the left, and then allow the knees to fall to the right. Again, chest facing up towards the sky, shoulders grounded here. Focus on your breath. One more breath here. Come back to center, and then let's hug our knees in. Maybe rock side to side here before we come into Shavasana. You can just release your legs long. Let your feet fall heavy. Relax your shoulders. When I come into Shavasana, when I'm really trying to focus on the element of air, when I'm trying to focus on being light, clearing my mind, focusing on my breath, I like to imagine I'm on a cloud. So just imagine you're floating on a cloud here as you begin to relax your shoulders, relax the jaw. All of your facial muscles loosen up. Imagine your back body just sinking into this fluffy, airy cloud. As you float in the sky, you're not holding on to any more tension in the body. Just take a few moments here to just rest. Appreciate air and that it is our source of life. More than welcome to just stay here, floating as long as you'd like. Otherwise, begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. And just roll to one side of your body. And come up to a seated position when you're ready. You can do this as slowly or as quickly as you'd like. I always do it a little bit faster on YouTube because I know people are trying to get in a quicker practice generally. All right, and then we will close with a cleansing breath. So that inhale through the nose and then that exhale, release through the mouth. If you want to close your eyes here, relax your shoulders. Together we'll inhale. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this one. So we already have Earth up if you have not practiced that one, and then I will also have water and fire coming. So look into the elements a little bit if you enjoyed that, on how they can help balance you in your day-to-day life. And I just always like to associate asana practices that help me focus on specific things to shift where my energy is, or to support and embrace where my energy is and uplift that. So just honor yourself, continue loving yourself well. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and have a great day.